You're not gonna believe this, though, okay?
Okay.
Imagine my surprise when I show up to a Halloween party this weekend. I got body paint done all over my body. It took 6 hours. I was going as Mystique, made famous by Rebecca Romaine Stamos in the
Oh,
X-Men
I
movies.
remember. Don't worry, I remember.
I spent 6 hours getting my Mystique body paint up, and then I showed up at Tracy Ellis Ross's 50th birthday party, and it turns out it wasn't a costume party. I'm just out there as Mystique, just hanging out, and then it's just a bunch of people, more of like a grown-ups drinking wine sort of vibe.
Who's Tracy Ellis Ross?
So this is a joke because this is what happened to Kim Kardashian this weekend.
Oh, she. Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I don't believe you, but Tracy Ellis. So Tracy had the party,
Right, yeah.
and did Kim Kardashian? Did she have like the little paint on, like the scale stuff too?
I think it was actually, she painted her face, and then her body was in like a blue latex bodysuit.
Oh, okay. How embarrassing.
I know.
You
Just like
know.
that time I showed up to a Halloween party thinking it was a grown-ups drinking wine sort of vibe, but actually it was more of a Babadook sort of thing. Listen.
Don't say words I don't understand. And the whole, it's showing up as Mystique is almost as embarrassing as losing billions of dollars in future revenue. Am I right?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's Kanye West, man.
Ah, they're not married anymore.
I know, but like their whole whatever, they're both falling apart, man. They should get back together.
I
think
don't
that's
know if I would describe wearing inappropriate costume to a Halloween party on the same level as what Kanye West.
I said almost as embarrassing.
I met Kate. She reads like Korean news mostly, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes she'll be like, "Hey, did you hear about this thing that happened in Seoul?" And I'm like, "No." I mean, obviously this weekend I did, but on the weekend she was like, "I haven't been following the news. What's going on with Kanye West?" And I was like, "You're not even ready for this one." Trying to explain to her what the hell DEFCON 3 means and how he's been deplatformed from even his own shoes. Like it was a
Adidas
saga
and
for
stuff.
her.
Yeah, that's wild. It's like, you know what? Just shut up.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is a very unnecessary situation he's put himself in.
I've been wearing that Woody from Toy Story costume for like 3 days straight, and I'm wearing it again tonight. But it's actually like it's kind of comfortable. Because at first I just got into the costume and it's like one like nanometer thick I don't know, like vinyl or something like that, and then I went downstairs and Kate was like, "No, absolutely not. This costume is obscene." you could like see everything. And then I put on like a t-shirt and shorts, and then it's just kind of like wearing a t-shirt and shorts with like some pajamas on over top. It's actually kind of nice, quite frankly. So I'm kind of into it. But you know what's driving me crazy is that my wife's the one who's into... Oh, I'm in trouble, man. My wife's the one who's into Halloween, right? So she got all these Halloween costumes, and then it's raining, so I wear my Halloween costume all the time. Yesterday, she's like, "Oh, the weather's too bad for me to put on my Halloween costume." She went as a Hatsune Miku fan. She just was wearing like a jacket with Hatsune Miku on it. I was dressed up in full cowboy regalia.
That's not fair.
I know. We both gotta pay the same toll for Halloween.
Yeah, man. If you're comfortable in your Halloween attire, you're not going far enough.
She was like, she's like, "The weather's too bad for me to wear my real costume," so she just put on a coat.
One year I went as Dracula, but my cape was too long, so I kept like stepping on it.
Hate that.
But I kept wearing it. You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Dude, I don't like... Hey, have you ever worn, like, a wig for Halloween?
That's a good question. I don't actually think so.
I don't know if it's like a,
They're itchy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like a shit wig thing. Like, if you buy a wig at, like, the dollar store, it's, it itches like hell and gives you, like, a skin rash.
Yeah.
I don't know how people, like, wear wigs, like, in real life.
Well, the good quality ones probably have like better liners, you know.
I hope so. But even like if it's made of human hair, I feel like I would still get like irritated. But at least it's not. It's made of like the dollar store ones are made of like Pink Panther house insulation and stuff like asbestos, like pure asbestos.
Dude, if I send you, because I still have to mail it to the
Okay.
Wigs for Kids, but if I just send you my hair, will you wear it?
No, absolutely good because it'll itch.
Well, we'll give you a good liner, like
Also,
a
I don't
velvet,
need the
velvet liner.
I think that's beside the point. I don't think it's meant to be donated to bald people to wear. I think it's for, you know, children,
Yeah, well, yeah.
people in
I mean,
need. I was never, although it was close, I was never a bald child.
what do you mean close?
Well, I shaved it all off when I was 19. So, you know, legally I was like a year.
Legally,
Ah,
yeah.
stop grabbing me! Sorry, that was 2 times in a row I tried to make the jump and was grabbed by 2 separate bad actors. Sorry, I brought it back. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it uncomfortable. Sorry.
It's okay.
We qualified. No problem.
Qualified. Yeah.
All right.
The less I think about the game, the better I do.
Dude, I hear you on that one. Did you like the first thing I saw? It was like 6:37 a.m. Sunday morning or Saturday, I can't remember now. Pyrion Flax tweeted, "What a lad." I look at the photo, I was like, that's me and MALF.
That's us, dude. I immediately thought the same thing.
As soon as I saw the photo, I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is crazy.
We should go as them for next Halloween.
Dude, I was thinking about using that as like my going live tweet image today, but then I was like, oh, it's not me. It's kind of weird to just take somebody else's photo.
That would have been good though. You know, it's like cross promotions.
If I could clear it with
inside
period
joke.
first, but it was so good though. I was like, man, it's genuinely us.
Well, that's they're really good. Like a lot of those Australian actors at doing like look at Hugh Jackman
So
when he's like
true.
Wolverine. Although technically Wolverine's Canadian.
Very true. He sounds Canadian.
Yeah.
Listen, you fucking hoser, you can't fucking kill me, but you freaking I don't. Is the G word okay?
What? The G word?
You know, like they made a movie about his Disney character.
What the frick? Are you talking about Goober?
Yes,
the G word?
An extremely goober movie.
Like, what's the next letter after G?
He has a son called Max.
The walls are closing.
He says, yuck.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. I'm still very confused, but
I'm
you know.
I'm confused.
I'm dead.
Your ass took a gun out of your pocket and fucking shot me in the head there.
I shot you?
Yeah, we both went for the same tile and then
Oh,
died.
I didn't notice it was you. I'm sorry. Okay, well, I guess I'll exit.
Yeah, like a goofy movie, but hold the Y. That's what I'm trying to say. I was trying to insinuate.
Oh.
And then people were like, if it's a slur, it doesn't make it any better. If people are like, oh, can you just spell it for me instead? Like, that's going to save me from any kind of criticism. I say that because in high school, people would be like, hey, your G word, your G word. And then it was like, you know, not that insulting. But then I've read on r/Vancouver that was like, you know, if you call someone that on the street in Vancouver, get ready to get like stabbed in the chest.
I don't know that was a slur, maybe, but
Apparently
like,
it's not. Apparently, I don't know what I'm
I
talking
mean, Disney
about.
has a character named Goofy too. That's pretty close. I feel like if it were actually bad,
I don't know. Here's
you
the
know.
thing. I feel like if someone said, hey, you a-hole, and like I heard that on the street, I would be like, everything's right in the city. If someone said, hey, you goof troop, I'm gonna get you, I'd be like, we gotta get off this block. Like, this is crazy. Dude, I was so pissed off. In 7th and 8th grade, I had a girl in my class. And from, you know when good movies start coming out, like maybe like the first week of May? From the first week of May until school got out, every Friday she had a half day because her dad would pick her up at lunch and they would go watch a new movie in the movie theater.
that's not fair.
It's not fair. It's very nice for them, for their father-daughter relationship. But what about the other 29 kids who are in class whose parents are at work and then can't...
Yeah, he should bring the whole class.
He should bring... Did you bring enough dads for the rest of the class? Exactly.
Oh man, buy them all popcorn and everything. It'd be dad of the year for like every kid.
No doubt about it. Dude, I have these stories that live in my head like rent-free until I close my eyes. every night, and then it's like I'm paying rent on them. So it's like 7th or 8th grade birthday party for one of my friends. We went to the Napanee bowling lanes.
Oh yeah.
And I think he paid for like 2 games for each of the kids. So that's like an hour of bowling, right? It's a good time.
Yeah.
After they finish, you know, normally when your paid time is done, like the pin catcher comes down and like stays down and is like the screen turns red and is like, you're done. Like go see the you're done, bud. Go see the front desk to like buy more time or whatever. Anyway, it didn't do that this time. And I'm, you know, in the 8th grade. I was like, oh shit, free bowling. This is amazing. Guys, the bowling is free. Like, the machine's broke. It's even, like, keeping score for us and stuff like that, but it's not, like, it's not charging us. So we kept bowling for, like, another hour because his dad was just out. Like, he dropped us off at the bowling alley and then left. And then, I thought I was a damn genius. I thought this was, like, the best thing that's ever happened to me. And, we leave. Next day at school, the kid comes up to me and talks to me and says, hey, just so you know, those games that we bowled yesterday weren't free. They charged my dad when we left the bowling alley. It was like an extra like 80 or 90 bucks or something like that. I was like, oh man.
So you never got invited to like another
no, I never got invited to his birthday party again. I don't know if it had something to do with that, but I guess anything's possible. You know what's crazy, by the way? Why, MALF, make it make sense. Why is everybody mad that Elon's gonna start charging people to keep their verification badge on Twitter? But on Twitch, you have to pay $5 to keep your subscriber badge, and nobody bats an eye.
Dude, I don't know, 20 bucks to keep, I mean...
It's probably some of the best money you could ever spend. What's that, 240 bucks a year?
I can expense it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, I don't try to expense things I can't, but I don't know. I think that's a valid, like, you know, business
Here's the thing.
expense.
I think, listen, I think that you should pay the 240 bucks a year, but then once a year you should just tweet out a link to like a virus. And people...
Oh my god.
Just to make up the lost revenue, you know? Just
so like the virus, like the money goes from it to me.
Yeah. You know, you just like steals like their, I don't know, like their Bitcoin wallet address or something like that.
Can I do that? Can I start
No, you definitely
can I
can't,
actually
but...
like not even try to hide it? Can I, like chat give me information and then I can just like print it out and like walk up to like Bank of America or something and be like, "Hey, you want to know like here's information about some people?" Like,
what are you talking? What are you gonna do at the?
You know how, cause like that's how like Google and stuff. They're like, oh, Gmail's free. It's like, yeah, they're selling your information. It's like you.
Oh, so you're gonna go to like.
Chat'll give me their information, and then I'll knock on some office doors.
Yes, I have a dossier of 100,000 pieces of metadata. It's age, gender, and whether they think Coca-Cola is the soft drink that best represents the feeling of having a day off.
Yeah,
how much will you give me for it?
Here's all the chat polls that we ran.
That's not a bad idea, in a humorous way.
Yeah.
I did.
And it would be fully transparent too, so it's like chat would know.
Right, and then you know they could get their like 1 penny each for the
royalties.
the data.
Yeah.
But not into perpetuity.
No. Because I don't know what that means.
That's the forever ever.
That's forever, yeah.
So I never do surveys on Twitter. Because like, honestly, because fuck you. Not you, but like, because
yeah, I know,
they give you a survey that's like, which one of these sneaker brands have you ever heard of? And I'm like, why don't you figure it out? I'm not gonna make it too easy for you. That's your job. You're literally, for free, you think I'm gonna like, click on some results, and then they always give you like a, oh, we got eliminated again? What the hell happened?
I'm really good at that one normally, but
we lost on DoorDash?
I don't think I've ever lost on that one before either.
Oh my god. But I did do one. Because the first question got me laughing so hard. There was like, this is how people, and maybe it works, okay? But this is how people in advertising think. Question 1. Which one of these soft drinks do you most associate with the feeling of watching the game with your boys? Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, other. I was like, you know what? I'll feed you a bone on that one. I guess I would say Coca-Cola. Out of all those, I would say Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And then it was like, how often have you bought Coca-Cola at the grocery store in the last year? And I said 0. And then it said, how likely are you to buy Coca-Cola at the grocery store in the next year? And I said 0. And they said, thank you for helping us optimize your Twitter ads. I don't know what they're going to do with that data. It's going to get put into a hopper somewhere and spit out some kind of action item. But
they'll just come out with a new Coke.
they'll be like, well, you know what they should do? They should take their Coke out of stores, because I'm not buying it. They should put it someplace I'm more likely to buy it, like in a long stretch of sidewalk where I get a little thirsty. I don't want to go to this. At the store, I have options. What if I'm parched and I'm just walking down the street, but there's no stores around? That's when I could really go for a Coke, man.
You know what Coke really ought to do? They ought to buy up all the drinking fountains in every school.
Right, yeah, and just
And
make
then
them,
instead of water, it's Coke.
you know what it should do? It should shoot out like sand. So that when they drink it, they get thirsty, and they're like, I gotta go by the vending machine to buy a Coke.
I put your vending machine right next to it. Yeah.
They're like, the water fountain has motor oil in it. The vending machine has ice cold Coca-Cola.
Motor oil, dude. I'd be coming in with a jerry can and just filling her up.
Oh, but then,
That's a good
do you know, when you're filling up your jerry can, there would be like a horse girl behind you who would say, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like, I can't fill up my damn leaf blower with 3 seconds of motor oil.
You just gave me like trauma. That's something I haven't thought about in like 2.5 decades.
Dude, this shit'll drive you crazy.
Right?
You come in, you just had running laps in gym class, out of breath. Like so parched you could drink like 2 liters of water. Somebody comes out of like science class, tapping their foot behind you because you're taking too long at the water fountain. Well, I was just doing physical exercise, Becky.
Yeah. It's not gonna run dry.
We're not running out of water. I mean, not in like 1999 anyway.
No.
Maybe eventually.
I mean, we got like a lot of the fresh water in the world anyways up here. We're good.
Yeah. Plus, like, people always talk about like climate change as if it's a bad thing. But if the ice caps melt, isn't that just like more water?
More water, yeah.
And I don't even like ice that much. Like, I don't even take it in like my drinks or anything.
No, because then it like the outside gets like condensate, and then you gotta like you get the coaster.
Right.
But even after a while, the coaster, it's like a puddle of water on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Then
Don't
you're like,
want
you
that.
know, you're ripping it in half, you're bending it and stuff like that. One of your friends is like, hey, don't bend that. I collect coasters for some reason. I got a collection of garbage in my room. And you're like, okay, here you go. Here you go. Here's my Pabst Blue Ribbon coaster. Like, now it's back to like 2011 era Netflix where you're like, well, they got a lot of movies from when I was 15.
I'm just, you know, I'm waiting for the remake of House of Cards.
Who do you think they should put in the... Yeah, don't do it. I heard they were shooting it, but it had like Kanye West was playing Frank Underwood. So now they're gonna
I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I was about to say Kanye West, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't bring him up again.
Son of a bitch. Army Hammer fell through because he was eating people or whatever, maybe.
Wait, what? He's canceled?
I'm dead, by the way.
Yeah, I died a while ago,
okay.
yeah.
Well, then I guess we'll just exit this one. Yeah, Army Hammer, it's weird. He was accused of some Me Too stuff. And then also the Me Too stuff included texts where he was like, I'm gonna drink your blood and I'm gonna eat your flesh.
Oh.
Which...
But that could just be like a certain kind of kink, if you know what I mean. Like, not like cannibalism, like I don't want to expand.
No, I think that's the salacious stuff. And he's more like, he's canceled because of the abuse, but everybody focuses on the cannibalism because it's the weirder part for sure. He said he wanted to eat a heart. Oh, okay. So when Army Hammer says it's not okay, but when people are in chat are like, oh, I wish that the Titan from Attack on Titan would fucking eat me or something like that, then big whoop. People are like, oh, don't kink shame. That's based. Just because he played Superman or whatever?
No, he played the man from U.N.C.L.E.
The Superman from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's really good at rowing.
Oh, okay, that's from The Social Network.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the case of that guy in Germany who found somebody on Craigslist to eat his penis and then kill him? Hero?
I would say hero.
Hero or villain?
I don't know. Is he a villain though? Maybe he's like an anti-hero, whatever that means.
An anti-hero.
You know, he's like Will Smith plays that one guy in the movie. What's his name? Like Train.
You're talking
Crank?
about
Train
Crank? Hancock?
I don't know. Hancock.
Train Crank.
I just heard there's he body checked the train. That's all I remember.
Oh yeah, I've never seen it, but I remember the trailer.
Who's the guy, the gremlin dude that does the turrets?
That's Torbjorn. He's not a gremlin.
Yeah.
He's a dwarf.
Well, you should play him.
Nah, I'm not dead. I'm not gonna cosplay as an Overwatch 2.
Because then you get to have like a little hammer thingy, and you're like, job's done.
That's Warcraft. That's an orc. Now you
I
got
don't
gremlins,
know.
you got orcs, you got
Yeah, they're very Halloween. Haven't you seen Ernest Scared Stupid? They got the
Dude!
freaking goblins.
Yes.
With the milk water guns.
Excuse me, it's authentic Bulgarian Miak, actually.
Oh, okay. Ew. Yeah,
Great.
you know,
That's gotta be like when people talk about movies that are not scary, but because you watched it at like a formative age, it'll always creep you out.
I'm still scared by the scene when the kid's in the bed and then like you turn and then the goblin's there. Scariest thing ever. That actually affected me for many years. I would never in bed like want to turn over because I was like, if there's a goblin, I'm done. Like, just don't acknowledge it.
Just might as well just go to sleep.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying the Mummy when the scarabs go under the guy's skin. That's Kate's as well. Kate's like, I can't watch the Mummy because when the scarab goes under the guy's skin.
That is messed up, but it didn't affect me.
I was like 10. I was already like jaded by that point.
Yeah.
But the one that always makes me laugh, I think it actually fucked me up a little bit. Like I think I have some not heavy trauma, but a little trauma. But in the Super Mario Brothers movie where they turn Toad, who is a guy, into a Goomba by putting him in the de-evolution chamber, it messes with like the loss of identity, just fucks with me. And then there's an episode of the Guillermo del Toro show where there's like some loss of identity stuff, and actually I was like disgusted while I was watching it. I was like, this shit is making me feel like it's unpleasant. Like it's hard for me to watch this. And then after it ended, I just like closed the tab and like went out and got a glass of water and just kind of decompressed for a few minutes. Like I was legit like I'm more fucked up than I should be over this. Every other episode I'm like, whoa, what a fun little spooky show with a monster. That one I was like, this shit is like, I feel like my day is worse. And it's like the best episode.
You feel dirty, like you gotta like smoke a cigarette and take a shower.
Exactly. In that order.
Yes.
I'm sure I've told you this before, but one summer we had a mutual friend from university who got a job as the maintenance mechanic at Lake Ontario Park, despite the fact that he was like 19 years old and like not a licensed mechanic or anything. And this is the guy maintaining the rides and stuff like that that you would put your kids on. And, like, just be like, oh, I'm sure they're safe. Like, it's 2008. And, like, he would get so, like, drunk the night before. He'd have to wake up at, like, 5:30 a.m. to go, go check the rides before it opened up for the day. He said he would just go and, like, sleep under his desk in his office and not even check the ride.
This guy is a liability.
I know, like, I'm so happy nobody ever, like, got injured, at least during his tenure, but, like, that was, like, seriously irresponsible. I also remember one day, I woke up, I'm sorry, I woke up at, like, 5:30 a.m., and my room was right next to, like, our bags. I haven't thought about this story in so long, man. I just woke up. It was like a random Wednesday. I woke
Are you
up.
okay? You're like
sorry,
me trying to read a Mad Lib.
I woke up at like 5:30 a.m. to like dong, dong, and like splintering wood, and then like the sound of like clattering metal and stuff like that. And I got out of bed. I was like, holy shit, what's going on? And it was just him in the kitchen, and I was like, what the hell happened? And he said he forgot his key, so he had to kick the door down to get in. And I was like, why didn't you just knock?
That is a very... Wait, is this, this is not astronaut, but,
Yeah, astronaut adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
yeah,
man.
I know what you mean.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
great, great guy, too. Just,
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard
extremely-
from him in a while. Like, we used to hang out,
Oh.
and then... Well, then he moved, I guess.
Oh, man, I love it.
Dude, did I ever... I think I posted I don't know. I think I posted a photo on, like, Instagram many years ago. We were in Toronto, like, late night, getting drunk and stuff, and we found a sledgehammer on the sidewalk. And he just picked it up and just, like, pounded it on the road as hard as he could, and I was like... Oh, man. Good times. He didn't do any damage, chat, but it was just, like, hilarious. We're like, what is this sledgehammer doing here? Or there's the time we were in this, like... He was, like, whatever workspace he worked at. I don't know, I think it might have been, like, a WeWork type of situation or something, but not, like, WeWork, but similar. And so we had to go, like, get something, and in the lobby was just, like, this big waterfall living wall, and then at the bottom was, like, you know, the water, and he just had to pee, so we just peed into
No,
the...
you
I
can't.
was just like...
You can't pee
It's
into the
just-
living wall.
It's his workplace, I didn't care, but...
Yeah, thinking back, even like, you know, your moral compass is a little different when you're like 19 and like perpetually intoxicated.
Yeah.
I remember when he told me like sometimes he just goes to work and he's too tired to inspect the rides. I was like, yeah, don't tell me that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. That's too much, man. You gotta, like on that one, you gotta do your job.
Yeah, there's certain things, okay, be a little reckless, swing a sledgehammer, go for it.
If you want to nap at the office, you gotta get an office job. You can't actually like be in charge of the infrastructure, the safety of like a bunch of kids and stuff like that.
If you had to be a hobbit, which one would you have the 4 main ones? Which would you be?
I would be one of the, I can't remember if it's Merry or Pippin, but I would be like the one of those 2 jokesters that doesn't that doesn't look at the orb that causes Sauron and Saruman to realize where they're hiding. What's that thing called again? It's like a Slay the Spire reference. I always forget. The Palantir. It's not a reference at all. It's just a stock. That's right. Because like, okay, Frodo, he gets all fucked up. His life is like ruined. And then Sam does like all the hard shit. Like that's, I don't want to volunteer for that.
No, Sam's the real hero for sure. No, you're definitely the one that is also in Lost. That's like a heroin addict, like the rock star.
What the hell?
I can't remember. I think that's Pippin. I've not seen that other Hobbit in like, I can't recall any other movies I've seen him in.
No, me neither.
He's probably still like totally set for life.
Yeah, I'd imagine. He was in the Poppin'. He was in the Lord of the Rings. I don't know why I was gonna say the Hobbit.
And his deal was he gets 1% of all Lord of the Rings profits into perpetuity.
That's pretty good. Honestly, that's a pretty good deal. I don't think, if given the choice, I wouldn't want to be any member of the Fellowship of the Ring. You know that in the movie The Fellowship of the Ring, where they go to like that bar, and that's where they meet Strider, also known as Aragorn. I would just be like one of the guys, maybe like slinging drinks or something like that, blissfully unaware of the conflict coming.
Didn't all those people in that tavern get killed by the knight?
Wait, the
rider
ring
thingies, the wraiths afterwards. Something looking for the hobbits. Maybe, I don't know. At least you die drunk.
It's been a while. Why wouldn't be? I'd be working the bar. I wouldn't be drunk. Maybe buzzed. Yeah, I don't think I would want to live in Lord of the Rings. Unless I could, like, I don't know, like, being one of those... Are there, like, beings, like, beyond time or something like that? Couldn't I could just be, like, an elf who minds his own business?
Yeah, they live for, like, several thousand years.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, you guys handle this war, I'll get the next one.
Dude, oh, that's what I'll go for Halloween is next year. The lady that kills that one, like, Jaws guy with the weird helmet. It's like, cannot be killed by mortal man. And then she takes off the helmet and she's like, I am no man.
She
stabs him right in the face. That's who I'm gonna be.
Why are you gonna be Yoan for Halloween?
Because you get to take the whole night. I'll just be going around taking off my helmet to people and be like, I am no man. And
Yeah,
then
but you are a man.
Punch him in the face.
You are a man, though.
But not the character.
It's just confusing.
Yeah, but it'll be a good story. People will love it.
People will just be like, they'll just be confused.
Yeah, but I'll punch them in the face, so then they'll be hurt too, and then they'll...
I don't know. I don't know if I would advise this one. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you.
I'm not too worried about it. But.
Well, I might punch you though, so you're gonna be worried.
No, because I'll go as guy with a really strong helmet for Halloween.
Just go as one of those giant trolls that opens the gates.
Why do we have to? Why are we doing Lord of the
ogres.
Rings themed costumes in 2023?
It would be fun. You could be you could be that one king that keeps like one of the hobbits as hostage, and like he eats all the like the cherry tomatoes and they're gushing all over his face.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, sing me a song.
I know that guy, King Theoden.
Yeah, you could be him.
Because of the new show? Nobody cares about the new show.
But it's like $1 billion show.
That's what they paid for it. The real question, I guess, is what is it worth? I will say,
I heard
don't
the dialogue was bad though.
I don't want to insult, you know, our employer.
Do it.
But as bad as Netflix is, like, whenever there's like a new Amazon Prime original, I'm like, man, that's like, at least on Netflix, like, it's got a chance. On Amazon Prime, I'm like, I mean, if the show was good, wouldn't it be on Netflix? With the exception of The Boys, and then people are like, and the marvelous Mrs. Maisel 4 years ago.
What the heck is that?
Okay, and The Expanse, but still, like, that's.
I didn't like The Expanse. I stopped like
just
halfway
crazy.
through season 1. I'm sorry.
It is a weird show in the sense that, like, season 1 is different from the rest of the show in terms of, like, its tone. Like, season 1 is kind of like a sci-fi, like, film noir, and then season 2 and beyond become much more like grand sci-fi. It's still good though.
You know,
I will say, when my parents were here, my mom very earnestly asked me how she could get the Roku channel. She was like, is it possible to get the Roku channel? Like, is it like $9 a month or something like that? And I was like, Mom, it's free. You can just download the Roku channel. It's full of shows that nobody else wants. They got really into this show that's called Grand Designs, which is like British people. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.
yeah, I got knocked off.
You're dead too.
Yeah, I just died.
Okay. It's British people like renovating old medieval castles and stuff like that, and every episode they just run out of money halfway through because it turns out that it's really expensive to renovate like a 14th century castle.
But you gotta bring it up to code too, man.
You gotta bring it up to code. It's got no like bathrooms. The walls are made of like mud and old stone and stuff like that.
What I would do, don't touch the castle.
Okay.
Just like, but bring in like a really nice RV and park it like inside. Like a primo RV though, comfy.
And then,
know?
like,
but
are
have
you turning
like
it
an
into
RV.
Are you living in it,
camper.
or are you like...
Yeah. But have one in each room and then build like tunnels from one RV to the next.
This guy's crazy.
But like, and then slowly expand, like renovate the RVs from the inside so they like slowly expand to fill the room. So you're not actually touching the castle. It could work.
I don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you just do it at, like, I don't understand why it has to be in the castle. at this point.
Because you want to live in the castle.
Couldn't you just put it like outside and save all the money that you spent on the castle?
Well, then what are you gonna do in the castle?
You could just ignore the castle. You don't need to.
What's the point of having a castle if you're not gonna use it?
You don't buy the castle.
Actually attacks you. If somebody actually attacks you, then you're inside the castle walls. They'll take a few cannonballs for you.
Dude, it actually would be sick. Can you imagine the flex if you checked like your Ring camera and saw that someone was trying to like steal something and you just pulled up the drawbridge?
Yeah. You got alligators in the moat.
Out there on the ramparts like, fuck you, idiot, dummy.
Gang, because like we're in Canada, people are gonna start like wars over our fresh water. So like,
yeah,
we gotta defend ourselves.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drink it all before they get here.
Let's just start drinking milk instead of water.
One of the finest scientific minds of our generation.
I mean, milk is like 80% water anyways, right? Cows drink the milk and then they kind of sort of filter it.
When America invades us to take our fresh water, they're gonna see me. I'm gonna weigh 900 pounds. And I'm gonna be like, you stupid son of a bitch.
I didn't tell you to drink whole milk.
No, I'm drinking all the water before they get here. You stupid son of a bitch, I drank it all as soon as I saw you step across the border.
And then your stomach explodes. You'll be like that guy in 7.
Yeah. We might qualify. That's crazy.
Oh, baby. That's what I'll do next time on this one. I'll just like block people. You go ahead.
No, just go. You just gotta ride that elevator.
Okay.
And they're like just it's not even an elevator. You just ride it and then.
I used to go all the way to the top. I thought you had to go all the way to the top.
That's madness.
Well, I don't know. Why build a top if you don't got to go up it? Imagine if they build skyscrapers or like the top 50%, like the elevator only went like to the bottom top 50%, and there were no stairs. And it was just like a block.
The elevator only went to the bottom top 50%. What is it? What are you talking about?
I feel like I'm Daniel right now.
What is the bottom top 50%?
Go to the top of the 50% that's on the bottom.
What are you talking about?
The top 50% of the building you can't access.
Yeah, that's just about what is okay, I think I understand. There was a famous building that got built in Vancouver. Construction finished like 3 years ago or something like that. Shit is like 80 stories tall, right? Like a month after the move-in date, apparently they had flooding that started on like the 70th floor. So they had, for safety reasons, they had to disable the elevator in the whole building, like all the elevators.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you just came back from the grocery store, you took the elevator down from like floor 76, and then you're like, oh, sorry, the elevators aren't working. You're like, I gotta climb 76 flights of stairs to get back to with the groceries?
Dude, one time the power went out at my old apartment, which I don't mind saying I lived on the like 16th floor now.
Okay.
And but it was when I was doing laundry, but like it went out while I was on the wet cycle. I had to carry a laundry basket full of wet clothes up 16 freaking floors. And I was like, oh, it's not that bad. It was the worst, like the most like workout I've ever done.
Dude, your legs, I mean, you can imagine.
And it was like, it was a big load of laundry too. It wasn't just like, I don't know.
Plus, then you like your clothes aren't even clean. Like, well, I mean, they're clean, but they're not dry.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
I was really, because the actor who I know you'll know his name, he plays Cypher in.
Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah, he's also in Ready to Rumble, which is another reason why you should watch it. But I noticed every movie he's in or show, he's not a good guy. He's a bad guy.
Excuse me, in Bad Boys, he plays the police chief. He's not a bad guy.
Some people, if you're the police chief, some people would say that's like the villain, the main villain.
He's not the main villain. The main villain, I think, is doing like some human trafficking or something like that.
Wait, what am I doing in this? I'm infected.
Okay.
Don't worry. Just get it over with, you know.
Oh man. Oh, it's so good. No, Domekeeper is not confirmed dead. Like, literally just shut up. The runs are 3 hours long. People are like, it's been 3 hours since the last Domekeeper run. Just chill out. One Domekeeper run is like 15% of my fucking work week. This is not, I don't know how many times we have to, by the way, Zylar Keatum, thanks for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you. I don't know how many times we have to go through the cycle. The more people say, RIP, confirmed Domekeeper is RIP, the more likely this shit is going to be RIP forever. It like saps your will to play it. You guys, you know, listen, I've been in like mosh pits of parents in Halloween costumes and kids in Halloween costumes like all weekend. You don't want to mess with me today, okay? You don't want to mess with me today. I actually do want to mess with you today. You want to mess with me every day. I'm talking about the normies. So you're saying you're going to be sick again? This, I literally, I just timed someone out for 10 minutes for saying, when are you not sick? I don't know where you grew up, what kind of psychotic Mad Max Thunderdome community you grew up in where you go up to strangers and like insult their health. That shit's going to put you on ice pretty quick here. I don't even know who you are. When are you not sick? I don't even know who the hell you are. Why don't you take a picture of your face and send it to me on Twitter? I'm sure I could come up with some comments for a stranger as well. You got it all backwards. This is not Squeex' stream, where for some reason it's just every time he's live, I don't know, I just want to type in his chat like something like mildly insulting, and then he reads it out, and then everyone in chat goes, +2, Kekel, +2, and then I feel like an incredible rush of power. This is my stream. If you say rude stuff, there's a chance. If it's rude and funny, then there's no problem. I'll read it out and laugh all the time. I'll say +2. Sometimes people just go, he's sick again, lol. I'm like, okay, he's banned again, lol. You don't understand, when you're the jester, you have to be humorous. When you control the punishments, you don't have to be funny. You can do whatever you want. Are you still playing Marvel Snap? Yes, I played a little Marvel Snap this weekend. I stole a deck from a Twitter follower that basically relies on playing a card on your final turn that moves all of your other cards. So people, like 100% of the time, they look like they're winning, and then they snap into you, and then you just play this card that moves everything one space to the left, and they lose, and you didn't even have to snap, and yet you get the power of their snap. It feels great. It's the perfect length. If Rumbleverse games were only 3 minutes long, I would still be playing Rumbleverse. Because even when you, and also, I think I can't speak to the actual mechanics of the game. Like, is it mechanically, like, that interesting of a game? I think it's kind of interesting. You know, it's got some bluff mechanics, which are neat. It's got some RNG, which annoys people, but is also, like, you know, I find it fun, because I'm not that much of a stickler for, like, card game purity, I guess. But the big thing about it is that, like, the games are so fast, and resigning causes you to get, like, half the penalty that you would normally get for a loss. So whenever I, like, win a game, I'm like, I'm a genius. Whenever it looks like I'm gonna lose a game, I'm like, oh no. I resign. There you go. Enjoy your 1 cube. Like, they snap into me. I could be winning. If someone snaps into me, there's like a 75% chance I'm like, take your cube. Go ahead, take your cube. Coward strats? Yeah, I don't care. Who cares? And honestly, like, they're so annoying. Sometimes you'll play somebody, they've always got, like, the Spider-Man avatar. And then they, as soon as the game starts, they snap. And then they go, they spam the emote. Snap, snap, you, snap, I'm losing. Snap, snap. Enjoy your 1 cube. I just resigned on you. If you snap every game, they shouldn't call the game Marvel Snap anymore. They should call it Marvel Snapped. OMG, it's me. I'm a very, like, believe it or not, I'm a minimalist sort of guy. When a game gives me the choice between 2 things, I live for that. I'm like, thank God, 2 things. That's incredible. When a game gives me a choice between 3 things, I'm like, this is too much. It's just like life's too short. For me, at least. Like, whenever, you know, you play a board game, and then, like, somebody's reading out their card. Or, like, I always go back to this, but, like, Magic is the example for me. Where, like, as soon as we hit, like, turn 4, and somebody's doing, like, their turn takes 2 minutes, and they've got 17 triggers that they're using, I'm like, you know what? Turn 4, I play a forest, I tap all my land, here's like a big wolf. If you're gonna beat me, go ahead, beat me. That's fine, I'm here to enjoy myself, I'm just here to, like, play a game. I'm not gonna debase myself and go, you know, yeah, and then my Niv Mizzet causes me to, anytime I take damage, I get to look at the top card in my deck and I can choose whether to keep it there or put it on the bottom. And then I fetch my Pain Land to get 1 floating red mana, which then allows me to look at my top card. It's red blue. It's a Scalding Tarn, but I already have a Pain Land out. I'm gonna put that on the bottom. Then I'm gonna tap my other Pain Land and get another floating red mana. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put that on the bottom. Oh, and then okay, did it again. That's a Treasure Cruise. I'm going to use 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor tokens to immediately draw a card. I'm going to use my 2 floating mana to play my Treasure Cruise. I'm going to search through my entire deck and find 7 cards, and I'm going to set them out and evaluate them one by one. Anyway, it's all good, like, if that's what you're into or whatever. I'm more like the kind of guy who's like, hey, guess what? Turn 1, pass. Turn 2, I play a 3/2 creature. Turn 4, I play a 3/5 creature. Turn 5, resign. That's how I play Magic. I think if I ever went back to Magic, I would have to just be a mono red player no matter what. Turn 1, here's 2 damage to your face. Turn 2, here's a 2/2 that does 2 damage to you when it comes out. Turn 3, here's 4 damage to the creature you played. Like, that's what I gotta be. That's who I am. You know what I really actually realized, especially when playing more Marvel Snap? I really like playing card games where I don't have to adjust my strategy at all to what my opponent is doing. There have been a lot of like wins I've had in Marvel Snap where literally I just played like the cards that I got on curve, and then on my final turn play Heimdall and just move everything to the left and the middle. And then if my opponent puts down multiple man and then a Carnage and then a Wolverine, I'm like, you know what? I resign. I'm gonna go play against somebody who's just dropping Khazars. I'm playing Marvel Snap like it's PvE, and you're the E's. You consider just playing like Canasta? So I was singing the praises of cribbage for a while, and then I downloaded a cribbage app on my phone because I was like, yo, dude, cribbage is like so much fun. I was playing cribbage against the AI for like an hour, and I was like, this shit actually kind of sucks. Never mind. I think it's a great game if you're like camping or something like that, but if you got other options, like, dude, our luck is crazy right now, by the way. It's a good game. Like, I would rather play like cribbage than like Go Fish or something like that. I mean, if I'm being legitimate with you, I would rather play cribbage than like almost any board game that requires like a 20-minute briefing in order to understand how to play it. I don't think it's too old. I just think my desire for that is low. Now, whenever like we're having a board game, which we don't do because again we have a child right now, but when she gets older, maybe we'll have some like board game days. I don't want to teach her like Clank or something like that. Even though Clank is like pretty easy, you know what? We'll just play some like crazy 8s. It was raining all weekend, so normally like I go out, I take the baby to the park, and we have some fun at the park. We go on like the slides and stuff like that. The weather was inclement, so we stayed inside for much of the weekend. I was like, what are we gonna do? We have like this Sesame Street matching game where it's just cards with Sesame Street characters and you set it up like concentration. I was having a great time. I was like, why don't we play this shit when you get like 8 adults together? Why do you always gotta play some ridiculous game like Motai where one person out of the 8 knows how to play it, and everybody's favorite part of the game, of course, is the 30 minutes at the side of it where one person reads 3,000 words of how to play the game, and you have to keep all of the information in your head 100% of the time, even though you've never played it. Here's my impression of somebody reading board game rules. Okay, the premise of the game is that the zombie apocalypse has just happened. You can win the game by surviving the apocalypse, or you can win the game by becoming a zombie and killing the last human player or infecting them. Everybody's on you for this. They're like, okay, I get it. That sounds simple. The game begins with the setup phase. In the setup phase, everybody gets 9 cards. 9 cards get placed in front of you. Everybody gets to choose from a blind bag whether they get a human token or a zombie token. They also get to choose an extra job. And then this is like paragraph 2. By the time they get to paragraph 8, even the person reading the instructions they know that this shit's going on too long. Like they're in the middle of a story that should have ended a while ago. Like, and then you in the middle of this is all true except for the engagement phase. In the engagement phase, anyone can play one of their one-time use interrupt tokens, and then like, no, you're reading it, and you're like, nobody's remembering this. Why am I even reading it? So you gotta like start playing the game, and then like. Every board game, they need to come with, I've seen some of them now, they come with like those YouTube videos where like you scan a QR code and it's like, here's how the game is played. That's at least an improvement. Either that or like, you know what? We let board games get too big. When I was a kid, everybody only played Monopoly. Everybody agrees that sucked, okay? But then we added like, in the last 20 years, we added like 50 seminal board games into the ecosystem. It was too much. Catan was one thing, but now everybody's got to know how to play Sushi Go. Everybody's got to know how to play Ticket to Ride. Everybody's got to know how to play Machi Koro. Everyone's got to know how to play Puerto Rico. Everybody's got to know how to play Splendor. Everybody's got to know how to play the Haunting of Hill House or whatever the game is called. Everybody's got to know how to play Motainai. Everybody's got to know how to play Tokyo Highway. Everyone's got to know how to play Clank and Dominion and Root. And the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detectives and Evolution Climate. Everyone's got to know how to play Pandemic and Pandemic Legacy. Of course, don't forget about that. Everyone's got to know how to play Dutch Blitz and Jaipur. And everybody's got to know how to play Mysterium and Captain Sonar and Dead of Winter and Hanabi. Actually, Hanabi is kind of like, Hanabi is a sick game. The Human League. Gil Scott Heron. Gang of Four. Okay. Yeah, we have a great board game collection. My wife, she picked up all the board games that you have to have in order to be considered a real board game player. And dude, I'll tell you, some of them, Hanabi, Sushi Go, Machi Koro, Clank, right up my alley for sure. And Splendor, I forgot. I love Splendor. It's been like 4 years since I played it. But anytime a board game gets explained to me, and they're like, so every round, every player gets to pick one card, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. I'm like, that's it? There's no like, there's no rebuttal phase where you get to do a silent bid on your opponent's cards. There's no 500 card deck where when you draw it, it gives you a secret objective, and your objective could actually be to have the least amount of points or something. It's literally just like a game you can learn in 10 minutes at most. That's what it's all about, man. Just play Sealed Magic. No, Sealed Magic is so, like, it's still very complicated. People that are in the Magic bubble just don't get it, because they're like, it's the simplest form of Magic. Yeah, it makes it like one of the most complicated games that people actually choose to play in their downtime. Commander? And again, like, I hate to just do this, like, this Magic slander every time. But Commander is like, standard if every deck was blue. At least in, I mean, I don't know what the standard ecosystem is like right now. At least in normal Magic, you only have to play against blue decks when you are playing against a blue deck. Like, you only have to go up against people that go, and then this triggers, which allows me to get a token on this, and then I take the token off of this, which puts 2 tokens out here, and then I have 6 target permanents, which means that my Sarah Angel has Vigilance and Double Strike right now. But at least you only have to deal with that with blue players. In Commander, every single deck is like that. And you have to read every damn card. Because everybody's got a 100-card deck that's consisting of one of. I'm not knocking. It's probably a great format if you're into Magic. But when people are like, oh, if you don't like the Magic ecosystem, just play Commander. Yeah, why don't you just, like, Matrix Jack, like, 30 years of mechanics into my brain so I can play a game of Commander in, like, 2 hours instead of 10 days. Is that I play a zero-cost token. It's called Silver Pocket Watch. Okay, everybody around the table that hasn't been playing Magic since 1995 now has to pick up the card and read it before anything else can happen from that point onwards. Like, there's too much going on in Magic for new players. You know, it's an inhospitable environment. That's fair, but you played Magic before? Yeah, but Magic players are like, there's something different. Like, here's an average, a completely routine interaction that can happen to you at Friday Night Magic. Someone will play a card, and you'll be like, can I read that? And they'll be like, oh, you don't need to. It's just like this card that they printed in 1998, but it also has a kicker. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, buddy. That's why I need to read the damn card. It's just like an Ebony Maw from the original Kaladesh set in 2001, but it also has a Painland kicker. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. You're speaking a foreign language to me. That's why I need to read the damn card. Anyway, I mean, I stand by what I said when I was Magic pilled. I think Magic is like an unbelievable game. Mechanically, it's like actually one of the best designed games of all time. But when you're out of it, brother, it is hard to get back in. It is. And it's made worse because Magic players just lie to you. And they'll say insane stuff like, it's not hard to get into it. No, it's like, honestly, it's very hard to get into it. And I feel like at any given time, half the people that are like at any Magic event have been playing for 1 year, and they're very excited about Magic. And half the people have been playing it for 30 years and are just like freaking steamrolling, man. Like, I think we need to, need to is a strong word. I think for me, I thought I was like a board game guy. But really, I just like playing simple games with friends. I actually I'm learning to realize, I kind of hate board games. And as a kid, I never thought I would say that, because as a kid, I played so much Monopoly. I played so much Clue. I played so much Scrabble and Boggle and stuff like that. And I think there's a few, like, slightly more modern games that give me sort of, like, the same thing. Like, I would love to go to a friend's house and play, like, some Catan. I would love to go to a friend's house and play... I mean, honestly, if I went over to a friend's house, even though we're in our 30s, and they were like, it's board game night, and they busted out Clue, I would be like, fucking finally. We can just get right down to the game. We can have some IPAs while we play the game together. We can go, oh, when you don't think that somebody has the information and then they go, I have to give you a card. You could gaslight everybody and be like, very interesting. Instead, every board game night is like, people bring 8 board games. You only get to play one because there's like a 2-hour preamble on how to play the first game. And then when you finish that, people are like, okay, do you want to run it back? And you're like, absolutely not. That shit was miserable. And then you don't get together again for like another 3 months. They bring the same 8 board games and you got to relearn them all every single time. Honestly, you just want to get, it's just for some social lubrication. Bring some Boggle, bring some 13 Dead End Drive or something like that. Hanabi is great. Like Hanabi, Secret Hitler, Sushi Go. I would say that, like, if you played some Catan to the point where it's second nature, sure, Catan is in there as well. Codenames is another great example. We played Codenames with our... By the way, here's what a normal person... And this is a very normal reaction, okay? We played Codenames with my wife's sister's family. So my wife's sister and her husband, 2, like, 30-something doctors... And then their 2 daughters, my nieces. Sorry, I'm already confusing this, but regardless. We played it with 2 highly academically accomplished adults, and then 2 school-aged kids. And here's how I explained Codenames. I said, so you have a grid of words. Some of these words, Team 1 wants their players to guess. Some of these words, Team 2 wants their player to guess. Team 1 and Team 2 both have a code master. They can only say 1-word clues in order to try to get their team to guess as many of those words as possible. And you basically, look, there's a death word, but you basically just continue until one team finds all their words, and then they win. And the 2 doctors went, huh? I don't really get it. And then we played one game, and they were like, oh, I get it now. And meanwhile, every time you buy a new board game, they're printing out a 50-page manual. The initiation phase, the setup phase, what to do before the setup phase, what to do in this nightmare edge case, what if 2 people draw the same roll, what if it's too much to expect from the average person, man. Hey, when you get bored of this game, you're only going to play 2 times because the original instructions were too hard to read in the first place. Here's some variations you can play. It's like when they put, a recipe on the back of the Ritz box. Like, can we stop putting on airs? This game is not getting played until, like, the ink wears off the cards. This game's getting played like 2 times so that whenever there's a discussion about board games, someone who played it once but knows that it's well respected can be like, I love that game, that's one of my favorite games. Anyway, would love to know your thoughts on this. I love board games in a way, but I don't know. I always prefer simpler mechanics because I feel like it's not universally true. But sometimes simple mechanics actually mean that you can have more creativity in the way you play because you get familiar with the mechanics early, which then allows you to subvert the expectations of how to interact with those mechanics. Sometimes. When things are so complicated, I just look at the mechanics and go, I don't know what I'm really doing with this, so I'm just gonna do what seems like the best. When mechanics are simple, I'm like, they are gonna think that I'm gonna say, do you have any 7s? But what I'm actually gonna do is say, do you have any 4s? Go fish. Just a lot of complicated games. I know, like, and it's not that I think that the complicated games shouldn't exist. I just think they've gone too far, because, like, people will say insane stuff to you. Like, I played Root on the PC. I did a video on it, and I said, I've always heard that this is a good game, but it seems like a little complicated. People were like, it's actually really easy once you get into it. I'm like, really? Because my video was an hour long, and I hadn't finished the tutorial. Like, I think that's just, it's not like I think it shouldn't exist. It's just a little too much, like, for me, personally. I can't be busting that out at, like, a board game night. People are getting off work at, like, 5 or 6 p.m. They're coming over at 7. They want to have, like, 2 beers and then be home in bed at 10? We can't be busting out Root. Like, that's just ridiculous. No wonder people just, like, get together and watch, like, sports or Game of Thrones or something. Go over to I don't even watch football or maybe baseball is a better example. I don't watch baseball. I feel like if I went over to a friend's house, assuming I had a friend, and they were watching the World Series, I would be like, oh, cool, baseball. If I went over and they were like, hey, do you want to play Motai Nai? I'd be like, oh, here we go. Here we go. It's got an 8.2 on Board Game Geek. It's part of the Board Game Geek Top 250. It evokes Japanese minimalism while at the same time, it has complicated mechanics for some reason. You've been talking about this for 20 minutes? You can't be mad, because people are saying things like, back in the day, we used to have an attention span. Okay, we've only been talking about this for 20 minutes. Time to exercise that attention span, Grandpa. It's called a filibuster. Please talk about something else. What's your favorite Catan expansion? I don't like any of them. I know how it sounds. I love Catan. We played so much Catan in university in my first year in the dorms that people were like, I can't look at Catan anymore. It makes me sick just to look at it. Here's Seafarers. Here's Cities and Knights. Let's try some new shit. I played like 2 games of Cities and Knights. I was like, can we just go back to regular Catan? I get that we were all sick of it, but at the same time, now we're adding in all this like new stuff that, I don't know, it just seems to like, it made the experience less enjoyable for me. But you already know I could play the same game like 10,000 times based on Isaac, so what else is new? Bangs Goat. I do see people talking up Hanabi. Dude, I love... Hanabi is like a little slept on. Hanabi's a sleeper. Oh, let me guess. Here we go. It's board game night. Time to play fucking Galactic Star Cruisers. Just setting up the board takes 8 hours. I gotta find... In my 75 square foot office, I gotta find a place to keep a 6x6 board game well preserved for the next month. Well, here's the thing. Yes, you had more power than me, but because I had cyber artillery and it was on a Hills tile, it actually gets +2 for every single cyber artillery that I have. Meanwhile, you had a bad logistics train. Your supply train collapsed, which led your units to have -1 morale. So as a result, come on, man. Oh, you know what the most demoralizing thing is, dude? When you finally get like 3 hours into one of these board games, and then someone asks a question, and then you spend half an hour poring through the rulebook, and you realize you were playing that shit all wrong the whole time. Wait, what's the point of my initiative tokens if I can't use them as interrupts? Hold on, let me go check the book. Oh yeah, it turns out we should have been doing that the whole time. Sorry. Yeah, like when you realize you've accidentally been cheating at the board game for 45 minutes. You're like, oops. Oh, I was supposed to give you my money when I bought properties. Oh. What a hilarious misunderstanding. Can I share a parenting milestone with you, by the way? We were reading Hop on Pop last night. I know! Dr. Seuss, recent right-wing hero, okay? I'm sorry, but we got the books. And honestly, I do want to say that when we first got the Dr. Seuss books, I was talking a lot of smack about Dr. Seuss. I was saying he's not actually a classic artist, or author, I should say. Because, like, so many of the books are just like, hey, look at this. He's a bip. Have you ever seen a bip dip? I'd like to give a tip to a dipping bip or something like that. Now that we're reading the longer books, I have a little bit more respect for Dr. Seuss. I think they're, you know, they teach you a little bit about language and conjugation and pluralization and just having fun. They tell a little story sometimes. Anyway, long story short, we were reading the full version, the extended edition of Hop on Pop, and it says like, my other brother's a little kid. He reads short words like if and it. My dad can read longer words too, like Constantinople and Timbuktu. Now, you may not believe me. My child is very verbal. She said Constantinople. But it was like Constantinople. And I was like, what? Excuse me? What did you just say? And then she said Constantinople. And she's just been repeating that like all day. She just keeps going around saying Constantinople. It's crazy. It's throwing me for a loop. She's cracked. Dude, she's verbally cracked. I feel like it's a burden to have a smart baby, because now I'm like, fuck, now I gotta be like a good dad. Why couldn't she just be like really strong or something like that? Then I could like slack off a little bit. I'd be like, oh, whatever, you'll probably just go like, you know, work at the Port Metro Vancouver or something like that. Instead, she's really smart. I gotta like nurture her education, you know? Like, I was really tired yesterday, but she'd been watching her iPad for like half an hour. We can't go outside because it's like raining really, really badly. So I was like, okay, honey, like, it's time for me to be a good dad. I don't think you should watch your iPad anymore. And she's like, I want to watch my iPad. And I was like, listen, that would be great because then I could play Marvel Snap. But instead, I got to be a good dad. So I endured the temper tantrum. And then we started doing like some, you know, puzzles and stuff like that. We did a little drawing. We did a little look at these paints. You can make like wall art. You can put it up on your windows and stuff like that. And then she was having a great time. But I was like, man, I mean, you gotta do it, don't get me wrong. I was like, man, it's so easy to just be like, nah, just keep watching Baby Shark videos on your iPad. I was losing it. This is like a little too city-pilled, okay? But on Saturday, very early Saturday morning, we went downtown. So we parked in like a big office building parking lot. But now, to be fair, there was a big sign that said public pay parking here. And it was very close to the destination we were trying to go to, okay? So we said, okay, we'll just park in this public pay parking lot. Drive into the bowels of the earth, you know, I'm on P71 or whatever. Finally, there's open spots. We go up through the elevator. We're in like the lobby of an office building, a very nice office building. And I was like, okay, just remember where this building is so we can get to our car. Couple hours later, come back to the place where our car was parked. Try to open the door. Door doesn't open. Try to open another door, because it's a huge building. There's like 1,000 doors on it. Door's locked. Of course it's locked. It's Saturday. Nobody's in the office building. People are going into and out of the building, but they're all like doing the thing where like, you can't follow me. You can't follow me. I respect that. We deal with the same thing in our building. I'm not trying to be the guy who's going to like sidle right by you, even though I literally have like a 2-year-old in tow and you might have allowed me. Not trying to make anybody uncomfortable. So we call the helpline for the parking lot and I say, hey, we're at like, you know, building X, but we can't get in because the front door is locked. And they said, oh yeah, for that parking lot, to get to the parking lot where you parked, you actually have to go in through another unrelated building, and then the two buildings are connected underground. So then we're like, okay, so I hung up on the helpline, and I go to this other building, it's like half a block away, and there's like a security guard standing in front of the door, and I said, oh, we're parked here. And he said, we're filming something inside right now. You can't come in. What the hell are you talking about? I'm looking inside. There's just like PAs and stuff just like sitting around. They're like shuffling around like food on like serving trays and something like that. I'm like, well, we have to get in. We just have to get in for like a second because we parked here. And he's like, okay, let me check. So they go in and like talk to somebody and they're like, okay, you can come in. And I'm like, yeah, I know. We parked here. And then we go to the elevator, and I say, Kate, can you hit the elevator button to go down to the parking garage? It's one of those elevators, for security reasons, it doesn't have an elevator button. Instead, you go to like a little scanner, and you scan your ID, or some kind of credential, And then an elevator door opens up and it only goes to the floor that your credentials allow you to go to. So it's just a smooth, featureless wall. So we can't even open up the elevators. Anyway, we walk around the lobby a little bit, and then finally we see a sign for the parking lot, or for the parking company, and it's got like a QR code on it. We scan the QR code, the elevator door opens and takes us down to where our car is. And then you gotta pay, because they don't give you a paper ticket anymore. When you scan the QR code, it takes you to a website. The website lets you enter your payment details, because the fucking paper ticket, insert your credit card and then insert the ticket system was too complicated, I guess. So you get the on your phone, it takes you to a payment portal. So I'm down there trying to pay for my parking. I'm typing my credit card number in on fucking on my phone keyboard, okay? And then it says can't complete payment. And I say, why? And then I remember, because we're fucking on P71 and the internet connection doesn't go that deep into the earth. So we had to drive up through like 75% of the parking lot, find an empty space, park our car, go back to the phone, take 5 minutes to enter my payment into the phone. Then it just says, okay, like you're good. And I don't know what's gonna happen. We drive up to the gate and we're just sitting there and the gate is just like, just doing this. And then after like 10 seconds, it goes, and it comes, like, I don't know if there's a camera that's looking at our license plate and it's like, did they pay? And then it sends a ping to a satellite, which then sends it down to like a server farm. Then they're like, they're running through the, yes, okay, they paid. Now send the signal back to the satellite to open the door. Like, this shit is crazy, man. Did you cheer when you got out? No, but actually it made me happy to have a kid. And this is gonna sound weird, but maybe other parents will relate, or maybe not. But like, I think before I had a kid, that shit would have ruined my day. I didn't even want to go downtown anyway. Why didn't I just park at a lot that I always park at so I know the parking system? But then, like, you know, when you have your kid in the car, you can't be like that evil. So instead, I was just like, we got out and then I took like a deep breath and I was like, okay, what are we gonna do for like the rest of the day? Like, rather than be like mad and like grumpy about it for no reason, I was like, you know what? That was like a fun adventure. Let's, like, you know, now we'll have some fun. But like, childless me, age 27, I would have been like, this is so stupid. I can't believe somebody's got to talk to this company. And me with a 2-year-old in the car, age 33, trying to figure out what we're gonna do for lunch when my wife and daughter went through the McDonald's drive-thru yesterday. Do you act different when your wife's in the car versus when you're alone? Yeah, when my wife's in the car, I'm like, under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter, take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day, out in the sun, they slave away, while we're devoting full time to floating under the doo-doo-doo-doo. And then when I'm in the car by myself, I'm like, I've seen your pin shot, your name in lights above it, it comes in blueprint blue. It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I loved you better. It's more like that. And then it's more like a little, more like a little pig. You know, it's kind of like that. Do you have any messages for the squeex cells? I shouldn't answer that question, but here I am answering it. I don't know, I honestly wanted to type it, but it's funny, Squeex' chat is like not the right way to put it. Like, Squeex' chat turns you into like a different person. Like, when I'm there, I just wanna be toxic in the chat. And I'm like less toxic than the average person in Squeex' chat, but like, I've typed like a couple jokes and chat goes, kekel, lol, he's so funny in chat. Then I type my go-to follow-up line, man, being a chatter is so much easier than being a streamer. And then I just find myself like typing some like horrible shit in the chat box and then just backspacing it out. And I'm like, what came over me? I'm intoxicated, like I'm on the bully pulpit. Because you lean into the toxicity so much, I had to stop myself. I'm like, this environment is turning me a little bit more toxic. Meanwhile, Dan just goes all in. Dan's a wild and crazy guy. He's toxic in every chat he goes into. Well, like, to be honest, that's because the only people I watch streams for are streams where, like, the streamer, I have some kind of acquaintanceship with them. Like, we have some kind of rapport. I'm not going to say we're friends because Squeex is right here. I don't want to inflate his head. But, like, I don't go into... I'm not like a psycho who goes to, like, Twitch and is like, what am I going to watch today? I feel like watching some Total War Warhammer 3, and then I just find somebody in the directory. And I don't just pop in and go like, fuck you, you're bald, dickhead. Like, that's crazy. If nobody I know is live... And actually, like, oftentimes I go to Twitch and, like, everybody I know is live, but nobody's playing anything that's interesting to me. Then I just close out the damn tab and go do something else. You get tilted when people are just spamming question mark, question mark, question mark at you. Well, like, a little bit. The way more tilting thing, though, is, like, when people say, like, stop talking about this, or they'll say, like, just be funny. That's the most annoying part. People don't understand that humor is not like an intentional thing in this business. It's something you gotta, you know, you don't produce humor. You go tick, 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 and you're mining, you're strip mining, and then every once in a while you see like a little diamond, and you're like, tick, 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 there you go. You can't just be, it's like if you watch someone play Minecraft, you can't just be like, get more diamonds, you know? You can't just produce them out of a furnace. You got to go down into the earth and get the diamonds for yourself. It's all in my masterclass. And honestly, like, you're asking me a lot of questions that were answered by the masterclass. Chibley's thing is like misspelling words and playing on creative. That's true. And playing on creative. My thing is not killing my kangaroo. I don't know what your thing is. Chib, I think you have a little artificial scarcity too. Like, I'm live every day. So honestly, I think people kind of take me for granted. You're live like 4 days a week instead of 5, the perfect number. So I think people are like, when you're live, they're like, oh, don't be mean to Chibley. He might kill his motivation to stream tomorrow. Let's just tell him every single joke that he makes is hilarious. Meanwhile, when I'm live, they're like, what, we can insult him all he want. What's he gonna do? Not come back tomorrow? Like, it's his job. Here you go, -2, -2, true, true, -2, -2, but true. Like, you can say whatever you want to me. Like, I'm gonna be here tomorrow. You might not be here tomorrow, but I'll be here tomorrow. How many pillows do you sleep with? Thanks for putting it in chat again, because I was going to talk about it. I'm a 1-pillow guy. Now, obviously, like, that must not be, like, the exact norm, because every hotel you go to gives you 2, and I always throw one of them on the ground. So there must be, like, a lot of 2-pillow sleepers out there. I don't know. I mean, it's just personal preference, right? But it shit feels, like, bad for my neck. When I'm sleeping like this, I don't like that. Or like, because I sleep kind of on my side or on my tummy even sometimes. Like, I don't want my neck to be like that, you know? That doesn't, I'm a 1-pillow guy. Sleeping on your tummy is bad for you. Are there any things that are like more of a surrogate personality than people who say sleeping on your tummy is bad for you? Or like, oh, I use a squatty potty because it's better for your colon? Like, can you not just like get into golf or like mall walking or something like that? You literally want extra credit for doing shit that people do every fucking day and have to do. Get over it. Actually, I have a squatty potty because it's better for my descending colon. Okay, like if a gastroenterologist told you to buy that shit, then okay. Otherwise, you shut up. We're trying to like just talk to each other here. Just trying to have a conversation. Sleeping on your tummy is actually bad for you. Source? Oh, I read it in a healthline.com article 9 years ago. You see, maybe it's bad for you. It's been kind of like working out. People literally say like, oh, sleeping on your side is bad for you. And then like smoke cigarettes, eat fast food, and have like 12 drinks every Friday and Saturday. But at least you sleep on your back. Okay, let me know how this is working out for you. Save a spot for me in heaven, shithead. Hey, what's that guy's secret? Oh, he sleeps on his back. Dr. Manhattan? I sleep on my back. Anyway, he's ass. What is so like what's the theme this week? This is like me at like an orchestral performance, but I don't know the work and there's no program notes. There's no listening notes. Me drinking a wine without a little piece of paper that tells me what I should be searching for. What is it? What is that thing I'm tasting? And is it like, is that the Oki Afterbirth? It's another Office reference. Yes. Not chat saying, ew, gross, and then realizing it's from the most normcore show of all time. People always be like, oh, I don't watch normcore. I don't watch normal shows like Seinfeld and The Office. I watch stuff that's a little too weird for you. And then you're like, what is it? And it's like, oh, it's a girl who's a tank. It's not weird. It's weird that you think it's weird. Like, of all the things you could possibly make on television, which is literally like limited only by your imagination, that's not even that crazy. Rick and Morty. Okay, now that guy, somebody lock this guy up, dude. We got a certifiable freak in the chat. A Rick and Morty viewer? No way, dude. I'm pretty weird. I read books. People like say shit like that, and then I'm like, what books do you read? And they hit me with like some, like a fantasy novel. Like, no, you don't read books. You read fantasy, okay? It's too I'm not saying there's anything wrong with reading fantasy. I'm saying there's something wrong with looking down on other people's media choices because you read books, but the books that you read are like, you know, The Pink Crystal, book 9 of 400. Chlamydia grabbed the sword from betwixt the two. If you read, like, listen, I did not expect, this might be the bit where I expected the most -2s and got the most +2s that I've ever received. I thought it was going to be wall-to-wall -2. Like, if someone said, oh, I don't watch TV, it's like, oh, that's so juvenile and prosaic. And I was like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I've been reading through the Dostoevsky classics. I would be like, okay, you're a snob and you own it. Sometimes people will be like, I don't watch television. I'm like, what do you read? And they're like, Guy Gavriel K novels. And I'm like, well, it's all about getting fucked by a wizard. It's the same shit. Don't act like you're better than me. You're basically reading old young adult novels, and I'm watching like comic book cape shit. Like we're cut from the same cloth. Why are you trying to get a dividing line between us? That's a lot of +2s, man. That is a lot of +2s. And I am living for it. -2 for the author. Well, I had to pick, okay, because like, listen, I'm not going to pick Robert Jordan because he's very well respected. Obviously, I'm not going to pick Tolkien or C.S. Lewis because they're part of like the fucking Library of Congress. So I had to pick a fantasy author that I knew who makes like some horny shit. And I was like, okay, it's got to be Guy Gavriel K. There were no other options. If there were other options, I would have gone for them, okay? It's pronounced Guy. Okay, well, then you can -2 me for that. I did not know that. Aren't all books part of the Library of Congress? Nope. I see what you're doing there, and I admire the attempt in many ways. But no. No, they are not all part of the Library of Congress. Also, I don't believe that Lord of the Rings and the Chronicles of Narnia are in the Library of Congress, because they were written by British people. I can't imagine that they would be claimed by the American Library of Congress, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe they are? Can't have shit in London, man. How do you feel about this author that is on Twitch instead of finishing their book? I mean, how I feel about it is, how am I going to blame him, you know? Like, writing seems like really hard work, and you don't even know, like, how it's going to be received until that shit's already out. Like, it's too late to change it. Streaming, you get moment-to-moment feedback, and the duties of the job are, like, insanely easy. I think if anybody on Earth, like, loves the spirit of their job, like, if you love being a lawyer, if you love the law, but you hate doing lawyer stuff, you should just become, like, the law guy. Twitch.tv/the law guy. Every day, react to r/legal advice, r/shitty legal advice. Pivot your career into talking about your career instead, and preserve your mental health. That's LegalEagle. I honestly, with God as my witness, I did not know that already existed. But it makes perfect sense. If anything, it strengthens my case. Just do it after writing the 3rd book in a trilogy. Listen, as like a consumer of things, that chest, I would love it if everything I loved got finished. However, as a person who is already doing the streaming stuff, people are like, hey, do you ever consider like taking a year off from streaming to make a 4 out of 10 indie game that people would probably fucking hate? I'm like, no, dude, this is we already got we're plucking the fruit from the tree. We don't need to be planting any damn seeds. We're in the Garden of Eden, and we're eating all that delicious fruit. And I haven't read the Bible in a while. The last time I read it, though, I think everything turns out pretty well for the people that ate the fruit. Last time I checked the story of the world, well, it was Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. One of them ate the forbidden fruit, and now we have smartphones. So, mistake? I don't know if I would go that far. I think you and I have different interpretations of the events of the Old Testament, but I defend to the death your right to say them. I mean, you don't have to, it's not compulsory. You shouldn't have to participate in Halloween if you don't want to. It's just like, I mean, I would love to give out candy. Where it's like the opposite. I feel like usually people are like, oh, it's so annoying that we're expected to give out candy. We're in like the opposite camp where I'm like, oh, it's so annoying. All I want is for people to come to our house so we can give them candy. But instead we got to go elsewhere to experience the Halloween spirit. Give out candy? What do you, we don't have any, I literally was just, are you paying attention? What compels people to chat and feel like their feedback absolutely needs to be added to the conversation? They're like so engaged, I'm responding to what's happening, but I was not listening in the slightest. That's for real world conversations. On Twitch, please bring your best behavior. Oh shit, my country changed the time. That's true, it is also, it's that week. This is the week where non-North American viewers who still end daylight savings can join the stream a little earlier. The stream starts a little earlier for you now. Is that why you were live an hour early? I was not live an hour early. I was live at the exact same time. It's merely the clocks that have changed. No man ever goes on the same journey twice. Because it's not the same journey. It's not the same man. Oh, man. Man cannot remake himself without pain, for he is both the sculptor and the clay. You ever think about that shit? Now watch this drive. North America doesn't change its time. It's complicated. We do in much of North America, but we don't do it until next Saturday. And also, we're not even supposed to be doing that shit anymore because we had like a plebiscite and narrowly voted to have permanent daylight savings time. But instead of respecting that, the government's like, oh, we got bigger problems. So, like, I don't know. Basically, like, you know what annoys me the most is we gotta wait for fucking California to do it. That was the excuse this year. Is like, oh, Washington, Oregon, and BC are doing it, but California's not gonna do it yet. We can't do it unless California joins in. Okay, why don't I... Give me a vote for governor, then. If we're gonna do, like, all of our policy is based on California, then I should be able to vote for the damn governor. It doesn't take effect until next year? Tell me you work for the government without telling me you work for the government. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Other various platitudes. Is he going off? Because you don't understand, and the animals are leaving in the Tennessee and Oklahoma and the Minnesota! 2 kangaroos. We work in time scales beyond your comprehension. It's me, my reaction, my friends without kids when they're the Bene Gesserit, our time scale is on the order of centuries. Okay, like just say you're gonna be late, alright? Why are you texting me all this cryptic shit? We operate on the time scale incalculable to your terrestrial mind. I know, bro, I didn't put out the hors d'oeuvres yet, okay? Because your ass is always 45 minutes late texting me some Frank Herbert shit. That's why I told you the party started at 4:15, so you'd be there by 7. Everybody else, I told them it started at 6:30. You just chill out a little bit? What's an hors d'oeuvre? I don't know. It's like a, you know, like a pig in a blanket or like a bacon wrapped scallop or something like that. Or a little, they'll be like, it's a little mini, it's a wonton bite. It'll be like a little wonton with like some, you know, spiced ground pork on top of it or something like. Shit that like when, because we picked up, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. It sounds so fancy to say we picked up catering for our daughter's 2nd birthday. What we really did is called a place and said, hey, give us 20 sandwiches. And it wasn't Subway, for the record, okay? You only turn 2 once. Regardless, When I picked it up, I was looking at their menu, and they have, like, you could buy hors d'oeuvres for catering. Shit is like, it'll be like mini hot dog, $4 each, minimum order 80. Catch me never going to your establishment ever again. Are you out of your mind? Anytime I've ever been to a party with hors d'oeuvres, I've been eating the shit out of those hors d'oeuvres like crazy. I had no idea. I was probably eating like $100 worth of food just to myself, to shit that I wasn't even like... Oh, I didn't really need you to be there. I was only invited out of like... Like, I'm a +1 or something like that. You're that guy at the party? I didn't know... I figured like every hors d'oeuvre was probably like $1 billable. But actually, it turns out that shit is expensive as hell. I had no idea. By the way, the 10-piece! The 10-piece is real! I'm not washed. I'm not washed. You just have to always buy the buffalo. People come around, hey, do you want a... It's a deconstructed walking taco bite. I'll be like, yeah, I'll take 6 or 7 of those. It's an asparagus tip. Yeah, you know, fill her up. It's an amuse-bouche meant to simulate the taste of a buffalo wing while using no buffalo sauce or chicken. No thank you. I pass. Try winning with Mantis? What is this? A Guardians of the Galaxy deck in Marvel Snap? I'm gonna send you over to my wife's stream. Enjoy your Halloweens. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is threat level Crimson for Dome Keeper. I don't have any collaborative stuff. I'm feeling better. We got a 5-hour window. I could start Dome Keeper at 9. If it goes well, we can do 9 to 1. If it goes like shit, we could do 9 to 11. We could do 9 to 10:30. It's flexible. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. See you.